He's never fought us. Not us united.
Oh! I can so see that. That's it. Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm your host Jared. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press and Taladia Plays. What's up, boys?
Hey, I'm good.
Hello
I'm good.
there.
General Kenobi. So I have to. So today we're talking about a very interesting epidemic that has shown up in the past, like I say, 4 years, ever since a certain president was elected. It seems like this is the way that these creatives have gone. And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're still doing your intro.
Yeah, but so what we're talking about is certain creatives feel the need to attack their audience if they're producing a product that's not like up to snuff and they're called out on it. Or in the case of some DC creatives, like certain actors on Smallville, none of the obvious ones. It's Olympus Way. The actor who plays Lex Luthor's father once said he doubts the parenting skills of anyone who likes Man of Steel.
That is unnecessarily harsh.
I'm like, furthermore, there was another DC artist that was like, thank F, it's over. And I'm like, listen, if you don't like the SnyderVerse, that's one thing, that's fine, that you're right. But don't insult people. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
By the way, for the record, the character's name was Lionel Luthor, and the actor's name was Michael Glover.
Yeah.
John Glover.
No.
Okay.
Michael Glover.
No. Actually, Taladia's right. Taladia's right. It's John Glover.
Okay, John Glover. Right.
A little fun facts about him. He's in Batman and Robin. He gets killed by Poison Ivy. Mm-hmm. And he is also is the voice of Abraxas in Tron, the Tron video game. Like he is all like John Glover's all over the place.
Mm-hmm. But so seeing all this, because it's a pattern, it happens all the time. It got me thinking about just how it doesn't make sense, guys, that you attack people that literally are indirectly paying you.
Well, usually the idea is that they don't want this audience anymore. They want to attract like more mainstream audiences. So I think by attacking the hardcore fans, they can attract this new audience. And yeah, sometimes they're right, but like the problem with like these new modern audiences is they're flighty. They hop on stuff because it's trendy, and once it's not trendy, they drop it like a hot potato. You know, like you really think Star Trek would survive 50 years? If it's even more than that now. It's you know,
Superman would survive 70 years.
Exactly, but I'm just using Star Trek because Superman's been like the preeminent superhero almost since his inception. He's been like the top of the mountain for like almost 100 years now. Like Star Trek, for the longest time, I'd say like in its entire existence has been the underdog franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been like Star Trek has always been the franchise that has struggled to justify its existence, and it's been the dedicated fans that have helped it go its way. And it's only recently that Star Trek has been trying to go away from its core fans and to not so good results.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing: what these companies are realizing, and then I'll get to you, Taladia, is that they're not realizing. Yes, you want to get a new audience because that's how these things grow, but you also have to take care of the old audience because the old audience actually helps in spreading your product to other like audiences. In other words, if that makes sense.
See, the perfect example of a media franchise who truly gets it, and Jared, you're gonna hate me for bringing this up.
Is it Cobra Kai?
Yes.
No!
Cobra Kai never dies.
Yes, Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah,
Jared, you're gonna have to put up with me for this segment.
Why did you say that?
All right. I propose a motion that we strike Cobra Kai from the "Why do you say you don't name" banner. All raise their hands.
It's my show, so whatever.
You've been outvoted, Jared.
Taladia, I won that bet.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so Nick, so what happened? Actually, real quick, Nick, settle a bet, okay? So Taladia, so you know how Taladia and Jay Heat and I do the rewatch, do the live watch of Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
I made a bet with Taladia that if there's not action in this episode, he can't play the "May the Force Be with You" Wonder Bat intro for my intro for a week. Now, if I lost, I couldn't play the Batman doesn't do ships clip for a week. Now, the only action in this episode involving Clark, we were very clear that it has to involve Clark because it has to involve Superman himself doing stuff. Superboy does not count. Steel does not count. So the only action involves Superman flying somewhere. Does that count as action?
No.
Thank you! There you go!
Claudia is just thinking, oh, traitor. By the way, you need that clip from Star Wars. You need that traitor clip.
Yeah, I'm going to get that. But thank you. I told you it doesn't count, Taladia.
I'm sorry, Taladia. I'm sorry.
Even if he flew somewhere urgently. Unless he's punching someone, it doesn't count.
Now, if you had made a bet that there'd be no, like, special effect shots, then you would have lost the bet.
Or no stakes, then I would have lost the bet. There were stakes. There just wasn't any
next week we're doing
action.
a bet.
What kind? T-bone, New York Strip, Porterhouse?
Well, I'm gonna put this right now. I'm gonna put it to bed. We're making the bet next week. If there is no action for Superman and Lois, but there's Steel, Superboy, or Clark, if there's no action, then I won't play. Then
No. You still can't play it for that show next week.
No. You're not understanding. For the next week, so it's for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but then that's stacking the deck in your favor because one of those three always has an action scene. I'm just involving Superman because Superman hasn't done anything besides sit with Lois while she has a cancer.
Okay, well we'll
plot
make it just for
for
Superman.
so long.
Just make it for Superman then, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. And Nick, you're a witness.
As well as both people who will watch this video.
Yes,
as well as anyone that watches this video. And by the way, action is defined for the purpose of this bet of him actually engaging in combat with someone.
Does it have to be?
And if it does,
is it Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
But if he does do some combat,
yeah,
I have to play for the rest of the 2 episodes.
To play the
May the Force be with you, Wonder Bat.
But wait a second, you were gonna do that anyway. Well, actually, okay. If I win, you can't play that clip for.
All right, no.
For the rest of it.
I got it. Okay, here I'm gonna settle this. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, if Jared wins the bet,
Yeah.
then Taladia has to end his stream with Batman doesn't do ships.
I know
But-
how that clip.
I got it better.
He'll send no, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
But if Taladia wins, Jared has to end his stream with Taladia's clip.
Yeah.
And there's one more. If I win, I just want to add one more thing. I will temporarily for let's say a month, change your intro clip to a CW Gotham Knights intro. He's getting up. You better hope there's a fight scene in this.
But
you mentioned that name. Why did you say that name?
No. Here's the thing, Jared. If you lose, your intro to the next CLD is going to be the Wonder Bat song by Pika.
Can I play my regular intro and then go into the song? In other words, play 2 clips at the beginning of the show?
No.
But how are people going to know they're watching Comics League Dark?
They'll see our faces and we'll tell them. Hey, you're laying down some harsh terms. If you want to be able to give it, you have to tell that you'll take it.
It's just next Comics League Dark, or whichever Comics League Dark follows next Man and
Yes.
Lois episode. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
All right. So let's just kind of agree to the terms. So if Jared wins, Taladia has to end his next stream with Batman Doesn't Do Ships, and what does he have to intro it with?
Yes, the intro. I'll make him a CW Gotham Knights intro.
And he has to. That's going to be his intro video for his next stream. But if Taladia wins,
that I am on too, because I want to make sure you played that clip.
And then watch. You're never invited to another stream again.
Yeah, watch exactly.
And then,
all right, Jared, I'm out. I'm not a member of Comics League anymore.
But you are Comics League.
Yes. No, we are. You're not Comics League. We are.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but if I win,
okay, Iris.
I
got this, Taladia. I got this.
Do it.
So if Taladia wins, then you have the next CLD after this bet is officially, whatever. You begin it with Pika's Wonder Bat, and that is going to be your intro, and then you're going to end it with Taladia's what is it again?
May the Force be with you. Wonder Bat from J Heat.
And that's how you're going to end it.
All right.
Well, it is a matter of record now.
Can I at least put like the words Comics League Dark on top of the Pika song clips, or at least I can have some branding?
Oh, if you want to put like the iconography on top of it, that's fine.
Okay, fine. I'll do that. That's fine. Oh boy.
But the question is, it has to be like small enough in the corner. We're not going to have you just.
It's not going to be well, it's the audio, but still, it's not going to be covering it. Don't worry.
Like, trust me, I know how slippery you can be, Jared. So
I can't wait for the next one. This is gonna be so good. It's gonna be. I remember, Superman has to actually engage in combat, and combat is defined as punching or using his superpowers in an offensive manner. I have to make sure there are strict definitions.
That is
so.
Fair.
Anyway, back to the episode. So, Claudia, your thoughts on like DC creatives attacking people for liking Snyder's movies?
Well, they don't seem to understand the logic of what Zack Snyder's vision is. They haven't really creatively, right?
Well, that and the fact that it is just so unprofessional to attack someone else's like vision of DC. I love where Mark Waid said, "I don't really like Man of Steel. I think it's too dark." You're most known for writing Kingdom Come.
Okay,
which has about the same tone as Man of Steel.
To be fair, while I don't agree with the statement, that statement alone is a fair thing to say. Like, you're allowed to not like, if you don't like something because of X, that's fine. Like, if you don't like Snyder because it's dark, you think it is dark, that is a perfectly valid thing to say. But if you say I don't like it and the people who do are idiots, then you cross the line. Yeah,
I was just bringing Mark Way because a little.
Oh, I don't like Mark Way, but like I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be fair.
I appreciate that, but yeah, it's I get it. Again, like Nick said, if you don't like his vision, that's totally. But here's the thing: you work for a company that's built on having different interpretations of these characters that invented the multiverse. Shut up.
Yeah.
You should know this. It's like, like, wait a second. It's like there was also a DC writer, artist. I'm not going to name him or tell you what series he's on or anything like that. That did like a Twitter like blasting post when it came out about the whole unused idea, mind you, that the Greek gods are Kryptonians, and he went on a big Twitter rant. And I even put in the comments, I was like, "This is the most unprofessional thing I have ever read." From a DC creative.
I've got to bring up this quote. If you don't like my comics, then don't buy my books.
And guess what everyone else said? Okay. And Aquaman got canceled.
See, there's kind of this thing, and it's not just people attacking the fans. It's also using things that using claims of sexism, racism, harassment as a shield for criticism.
Hey, the boys are here.
What's up?
By the way, Jay Heat, we now have established and by the way, so Taladia lost the bet, and Nick said the flying does not count as an action scene. But our next, did he just leave? But anyway, is that better than his internet? I just thought
honestly, if he was being dramatic, I respect that.
That's funny. That's funny. I appreciate that. But anyway, so as you were saying, Nick, and I'll bring him back if he comes back in.
But yeah, like people are using, we see this all the time. Like, I'm being harassed. I'm getting death threats, and like, people don't like my character because they're racist, not because I'm a poorly written stand-in. They're using the Obi-Wan show to try and pitch my shit. Like, yeah, I went from general to specific.
Or like what's really funny, yeah, that's a good one. Or like when all of a sudden Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, has all these fans that are pissed off despite the fact that her book isn't a top seller at all.
Yeah, like honestly, anyone who knows anything about comics, they saw right through the BS of that. Like seriously, like she's got a movie coming out. We know that death is not permanent unless you're Uncle Ben. And then
even then, SnyderVerse.
Also, it's a very easy like thing to supposition to make of like, oh, they're gonna kill her off, then bring her back right before the thing. It's painfully obvious what this is all about.
Yeah,
and even even semi-casual comic book fans can see right through this BS, and the fact that they're taking this seriously it just shows how much of a non-fans they actually are.
That don't read comic books. And I'm sorry, going back to what I said before, there's one more thing I want to say about the Snyder thing. If you're insulting people just because they like a certain version of a character, like a certain interpretation, Snyder or no Snyder, you are not a DC fan. I have to draw the line in the sand there.
It's kind of it's kind of like you have a guy who just come down to an indie creator's Twitter and claims that your book is pornographic simply because you have mature
Nick,
audiences.
I saw that today. It was hilarious. How many people in the comments were like, "Are you kidding me?"
I gotta take a second. Thank you, everyone.
I was gonna say, go ahead. I want this in the video because it applies.
All right. Okay. Well, so some guy basically. Actually, Jared, do you want to just share the tweets?
Sure.
So I'll start explaining it.
It was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, you got to pull up the exchange. It is great, and also, thank you to everyone who showed up, who came and helped me, had my back. Just want to say I really appreciate you guys, and you guys all had some really good singers. You guys really right. Honestly.
So here are the tweets. So this individual dropped in. This is just, so for context, Nick was advertising 2100 Samurai as he should. So this person put, this is just another example of geekdom wallowing in the gutter for mature audiences, meaning it's pornographic and or gore porn. It's not, I've read the book. It's not that. And
I'll get into that irony in a second.
Porn is not pop culture. It's gutter culture. That's true, but your book is not pornographic. But even you said you clearly have not read the comic, have you? We said I saw enough of the artwork.
Have you though? Like I just really wish, like my only regret is I really wish I could have done that Thor movie. It's like, did you really?
People think it's full pornographic gore, then maybe you should rethink the advertising. Nothing in that advertisement indicates pornographic. But anyway, he says, is that the best you got? Honestly, I'm disappointed. And then I said, you obviously didn't read. I said, you obviously didn't read the book.
And at one point, I literally asked him to drop the receipts. Like, if my book is pornographic, Like, yeah, scroll down to Lug's comment. Shout out
Surely
to Lug.
you're joking. What artwork in it is anywhere remotely what you're claiming? Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally, that first panel, that is about the worst it gets. Like, in issue 2, there's, like, a shot where, like, her thing is cut off. You see blood dripping, but it's done in such a cartoony manner. It's graphic, but no way gory. None
of the art of the work is sexual or violent. It just has adult themes in it, but I don't expect you to understand what those are.
Yeah, trust me. It's like Edmonton.
Okay, now I'm back. So bleep. So yeah, that's the thing, and I'm like, it just seemed like it type. Okay, so here's the thing. No hate toward the person. It was just like a disagreement. That's fine. But the thing is, when
I
you
mean,
go off,
I'll laugh. Okay, I just want to say this
yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
The irony of his criticisms, and I think you kind of touched upon this earlier. I actually took great strides to not make this make Turn Samurai not a pornographic comic.
Mhm.
Like their base of operations is a brothel. I literally have a perfectly good narrative reason to have the tatas hanging out, but I made a choice not to show that.
You're
because I
just
didn't want it to be
saying for
pornographic.
mature audiences to cover your butt, essentially.
I mean, there is mature themes. There's
Mhm.
curse words. There's bomb. There's gore. You know, there's like kind of sexual dialogue. You know, like people talk about
Mhm.
the intimacy stuff, but I don't show it.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, it just really makes no sense. And that was the exchange where when it came across my Twitter feed, I was like, what the heck is
The most
going on?
hilarious thing is he's supposedly a right-leaning commentator, which just makes that even weirder. That he's
He
going
seems
about
like
this.
one of those. I mean, I've encountered
Puritanicals.
Yeah, I've encountered those people that like. I've encountered people that claim to be puritanicals, but go see every Marvel movie that involves magic.
Oh,
But
trust me,
anyway.
I once worked with an indie creator who was like that, and eventually I just couldn't stand him anymore.
Yeah, but anyway, back to what this topic is talking about actually, and we'll talk about actually this because it's a good transition. So recently there was an exchange on Twitter between a former DC Comics artist, and a indie writer. And to be clear, we love this particular individual, his work,
Mm-hmm.
his books. I've backed Cyberfrog. I love it so much. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I like Ethan.
This is not an attack on Ethan whatsoever.
I mean, it might be an attack on Titan, but that's different.
Nice. But anyway, in no way is this an attack on Ethan. We may disagree with his statements in this example, but Ethan's still a fantastic dude and a fantastic
Yeah, we like the person.
artist.
It's just in this instance, we disagree with him, and the very worst thing we can say is this. Like, I myself, I can't speak for Jared, consider that he may have done some bad takes.
Okay, so Nick, do you want to cue the audience and Taladia in on what happened in case anyone's not aware?
We talking about Common America?
Yeah.
All right. So EVS has he's made some comments about Common America in the past. He's made it abundantly clear he's not a fan, and he kind of made some comments on Twitter last week. Like, if you were like, Indie Comics Twitter was really buzzing about this.
I saw it. I think he was trending. I think.
Yeah, where he was attacking Common America, he was calling it like lollies and like for girls. It's like he kind of crossed the line there. And like basically, not only was he attacking Common America, not only was he attacking his fans, he was attacking anime and manga with a very. It's a kind of attack that a person who knows nothing about anime and manga usually makes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people who take like one look at anime and be like, oh, it's borderline CP.
It's borderline that, or it's like all cartoony stuff, which it's not. But I mean, Attack on Titan is crazy.
Yeah,
but...
go watch Neon Genesis Evangelion and tell me again that anime is for kids, please. I dare you.
Or like any of the Matrix animes. Yeah, I'm like, no. But
That
anyway,
too.
it's to the point. Yeah, I think he went a little too far. I don't think that was the best way to do it. Because again, I don't like when creatives attack other people's work itself. Like, I mean, you could say it's not my thing, but when you're saying it's for kids and stuff, like that kind of is attacking the audience. And that's
as
something...
a indie creator myself,
Mhm.
who's been around for a few years. I'm not saying I'm some seasoned veteran, but like I'm not a greenhorn.
Mhm.
Like one of the biggest things is you don't badmouth other creators.
Yeah.
And so how that works for me is if I don't like someone, I just shut the F up. And if I do mention them, the worst I'll say is like, oh, I'm not a fan of this person.
Mhm.
Like, oh, me and this person have some, blah blah blah. Like I don't badmouth them publicly. You really shouldn't be doing it privately, but privately among certain people maybe is okay. But even then, I really wouldn't recommend it. But you don't trash talk your peers. Like that is rule number one for any creative field, because this is a community. People talk, and because here's the thing: if you're bad mouthing one person publicly or privately, you know they could bet. You know, like you bet. Like let's say person A is bad mouthing person C to person B. Person B has no idea. Like, oh, if I have some problem with them, are they going to badmouth my stuff to another person?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's in your best interest to shut the crap up.
Which I saw a few occasions when someone actually did that to you on Twitter to EVS when like he complimented you on a Screecher cover. Yeah. And I was like, this is not a good look. You shouldn't be bashing another person's because because if you're not a fan of the art, that is fine. You're allowed to have different. Mm-hmm.
I've broken this rule a couple, like quite a few times, and I regret it. Like I was like, because I know some people like, oh, you've done it yourself, so what makes you get right? Like, yeah, I've done it, and I regret it. It was a mistake. I shouldn't be doing that, you know. So it's like I'm just heading off those comments.
Yeah, of course. So what do you think, Taladia, about all this drama speak?
It's interesting. I'm learning new things.
Mm-hmm. But you know who EVS is, right?
Yeah, even Vance guy. Yeah, I had a little bit.
We should have all been sipping tea right now.
Yeah. And by the way, for those of you that don't know how Taladia knows him, he goes on Max's stream a few times, I think.
Yeah, he comes on thing, but he has a little bit of controversial comments when he comes onto Max's panel, which I'll tell you guys after.
Oh, about Ezra?
No, not about Ezra. Mm-hmm. About other topics.
Okay, yeah. But the point is that I mean, the point is don't be attacking other creatives, even in the professional space, because here's the thing. It's because. Well, let me put it to you this way. Mm-hmm. Do you guys agree with me that art is subjective?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're just attacking other person's subjectively perceived art. And again, if you don't like it, just say that. Just say, I'm not a fan of Snyder's work. That's it. But do not, I repeat, do not attack the people who... And here's the problem. The same creatives who bash Snyder's work and fans are the same people who complain about how toxic the Snyder fandom is. This is why I push back on the Snyder fandom is toxic, because all of it can be traced back to we just wanted to like Man of Steel and like BVS and all these movies, and then we got attacked.
Let me clue you in on a secret.
Yeah.
It's all projection.
Yeah,
all right?
It is.
The people who are actually toxic are the ones who are calling the Snyder fans toxic. It's classic projection. And I realize I'm making the same blatant statements that we're calling against. I'm kind of calling myself out here. I'm acknowledging that. Mm-hmm. But when people do this stuff, it's just projection. They're projecting their own bad feelings on someone else.
Yeah, and 100%, because when you look at it, most normal people are like, I'm not a fan of Snyder, like Nerdette. She's like, I'm not a fan of Snyder's work. I can definitely see why you would like it. And she's been nothing but respectful to me when I've gone on. She even agreed to host me on her channel to have like a humanizing the Snyder fan stream where they got to meet a normal Snyder fan like me.
Honestly, Nerdette just sounds like a really gracious lady.
She is 100%. And if you're watching this, Tristan, big shout out to you for being so awesome. That's besides the point. We are doing a collab to talk about toxic fandom at some point. But
yes, when the fandom is very menacing.
I'm particularly going to bring up. Here's another one I want to bring up: the Superman fandom, because here's the thing. And by the way, so I rewatched Superman 1, Superman 2, and Returns. Okay, I liked Returns of the most of those three. Because I've always maintained Returns is actually a pretty solid Superman movie.
Wrong!
I want that as a clip. I need that as a clip. But I mean,
you do.
But wait, I don't want to use a clip by Kevin Spacey because he's kind of gone nuts. So I'm not going to use that. But anyway,
Then let's get nuts.
yeah, I'll use that one. But my point is that you see, here's the thing. And by the way, it's kind of funny is that now we're getting articles saying to move on from the Christopher Reeve Superman, and I'm like, where were you when Man of Steel was coming up? But that's besides the point. But there are people that
it's almost as if Warner Brothers is trying to push forward legacy, so they're using the media because we all know that like the studios buy articles.
But what they need is a new 52 Superman. Like, come on.
Yes, exactly.
We all want that.
Let me tell you
we got
something.
the new 52 Superman. His name is Henry Cavill.
Well, yeah, but in terms of characterization, yeah, that is 100% the new 52 Superman. But and people are like, well, I didn't like that. Suit. Whenever I tell no, he didn't because the suit had to have the collar to be a new 52.
I stand corrected then.
But the point, it didn't have the trunks. That's the new 52 part. But the thing is that guess what? Okay, Superman for the longest time up until the new 52. Yes, he was recognizable, but he was still irrelevant. What I mean by that is that when everyone thought of Superman, they thought of the big blue Boy Scout that's saving cats from the trees. And the average person thinks that's boring.
See, Superman is kind of like a Schrodinger character where it's like he's a character that everyone's heard about, but no one really cares about.
Exactly. So when the new 52 came out and made him relevant again, that's why I became a Superman fan. Because previous, I thought he was pretty dumb and lame. I got to be honest with you on that.
See, the problem, and this is kind of a bit of a tangent. The problem of Superman versus Batman is Superman is really hard to write because he's so powerful. Mm-hmm. Whereas Batman is insanely easy to write for.
Because he's a dude.
He's a dude, and the way his stuff is set up makes it very easy to create interesting stories out of his character. Like his world, his enemies, the whole setup of his character just lends itself to just really good storytelling. Whereas Superman, he's kind of got like a bit of a basic origin story, you know, like Kansas, Superman. Whereas Batman has like a really interesting backstory. Just like the whole, like everything about Batman is just interesting. It invites you to engage. Whereas Superman is cool,
but if
but
done
like,
right.
Yeah, that's the thing. When Superman is written well, it's literally some of the best stories ever.
Like All-Star. I always tell people, if you want to understand Superman, one graphic novel, All-Star.
I've heard good things about. I've heard I've heard good things about Superman American Alien.
That too. That's awesome. But anyway, so my point is that it's like, by the way, I have called out so many people just by saying, because they'll critique Snyder's Superman, and I'll go, okay, it seems like you have more of a problem with the Superman comics of the time because all Goyer, and this is Goyer, was doing was reflecting Superman comics of the time. That's it, which was New 52. But my point is, then we get the fan base that is like, so like if you change one thing, if he doesn't have the spit curl, if he doesn't have the trunks, he is not Superman. And I'm like, what does that have to do with what does that have to do with what Henry Cavill is doing in the movie? And then they critique the tone of the movie where I literally tweeted, Man of Steel is telling the exact same story to an extent as the Christopher Reeve Superman movie. It's just telling it in a more modern way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, and in regards to other good Superman stories that I want to shout out.
Sure, go ahead.
I sent you one in the Comics League chat. I really recommend you, Jared.
There's also Kingdom Come. Oh, yeah, I want to get that.
I've read that storyline. It's really good, and it's a great. It's Superman's involved, but it's also a really great primer on the Legion of Superheroes. Like it's really good introduction to like the whole world of Legion of Superheroes.
I'll check that out because I'm going to my comic book shop this week. I'll see if they have it. Also, Warworld Saga. That's awesome. But anyway,
Red Sun.
And Red Sun. That's correct. But anyway,
and Superman Brainiac.
Oh yeah, Brainiac's awesome. How about Speeding Bullets, where he becomes Batman? But anyway, but my thing is with this is that I get if you don't like the version of Zack Snyder's Superman, but don't all of a sudden say it's not your Superman because it's not like the Christopher Reeve Superman. Because here's the thing, it's not supposed to be. Christopher Reeves himself, Reeves, however you pronounce it, has said, I don't want to be the Superman. I want there to be multiple interpretations of the character.
Here's the
Flashback,
thing.
by the way.
Christopher Reeve is the Silver Age Superman. He is a perfect embodiment of the Superman from the 60s and the 70s, you know? And that's great.
That's what, know? There's a place for that.
You know, but the thing is, we don't, like, you know, we've moved on from that. Like, we're probably, like, 2 or 3 different versions of Superman removed from that version.
Which is why, if James Gunn is telling the truth, because he could, like, be just trying to get people to see a little legacy. He said he's not like, it's not going to be like a previously done version of Superman, which means it's not going to be the Christopher Reeve Superman. So I'm like, if that's right, thank you. I appreciate that because I like seeing multiple interpretations of the character.
Hey, who do you think should be the villain for Superman Legacy? I'm thinking
Brainiac.
Parasite.
Brainiac.
He said Brainiac.
Dear God, Brainiac is not a first movie villain. He's like a second or third. Like, I'm like,
yeah. But here's the thing: he's also a villain that not only the fan base has requested for so long in a Superman movie, they've never done him in a Superman movie.
Yeah, but he's not a first movie villain.
I agree with you, Nick. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens.
Like, Brainiac is literally like an endgame. He is final boss. He's not first boss.
He's end of trilogy. He's third movie villain, if anything. But
I was thinking Parasite.
Yeah, that could work. That actually would be pretty cool, seeing how Superman deals with something that drains his energy. But anyway, going back to this, but it's like then you have creatives that are 100% like set in their own era, like Mark Waid, who then critique people for not liking the Superman of that era or anything like that. And I'm like, yeah, and that's why I push back on Mark Waid, because I'm like, yes, first off, I respect the hell out of you. You've written some pretty dope storylines. I love Kingdom Come and all that stuff. But you can only comment to your version of Superman.
He's allowed to have an opinion. He's allowed to have an opinion.
Oh yeah, but I'm like, that's when. But it's like the reason why I'm bringing this up to bring this hashtag full circle is because I had some people, like when we were reviewing Man of Steel. So someone came into my comments and said, "Well, Mark Waid said it's not Superman or anything like that," and I'm like, okay, first off,
that's the other side to this, where some people like they have a creator that they really like. They take their word as gospel. You know, like, oh, Stephen King says this book is crap, therefore it is. Stephen King thinks it's crap, but that doesn't mean it is, you know.
Or it's like they'll hang on to this one interpretation of the character and say that this is the only valid interpretation. It's like there are a few accounts in there that I engage with where whenever they're saying this is how Wonder Woman's supposed to be, this is how Superman's supposed to be, I'm like, no, this is this is your preferred version.
Yeah, like honestly, there's a lot of that in the Tomb Raider fandom.
Yeah,
that you see where everybody is like so obsessed with like the original run of Lara Croft, which by the way is awesome.
It's awesome, yeah.
To the expense of like any other interpretation, because like I personally like. Okay, so first off, I love Melanie Mack. You're awesome, girl. But I disagree with her on her like her hard stand. Like she's allowed not to like it. I'm like she's not the trilogy, like you know, Tomb Raider, Rise, Shadow. You know, I personally like it. I like those games. You know, she doesn't. She's hardline against him. I disagree with her on her things. She's perfectly valid. You know, he's allowed to have that opinion. But like, there's a lot of people that doesn't like those trilogies, and like when last movie came out, which was based off the recent games, I made a comment. It's like, you want a movie based off the classic Tomb Raider? You got that back in 2001, starring Angelina Jolie, and that's a great movie.
Oh, it's like when you said, and by Nick, this is my favorite thing you've ever said on Comics League. You wanted the Christopher Reeve Superman, you got it in Returns. And by the way, if anyone tries to dispute that it's a sequel to 2, I watched that movie. They legit play scenes from the previous Superman movies in the opening to Returns. Don't tell me that's not a sequel to the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Okay, here's how Returns is structured. 3 and 4 do not exist in the Return. It's fine. You know, it goes like off of 2. Which
Oh, and by the way, if people complaining that Superman kills Zod in Man of Steel, he literally kills Zod in at the end of Superman 2. Like legit, he
Yeah.
takes away his Kryptonian powers and punches him, presumably hard enough to make him fly across a room with his Kryptonian strength. So I'm like, yeah, he's dead. Sorry, dude.
And then there's evil Superman 3 that all the stuff that he does.
But the point is like, yeah, I love the people that because I saw someone on Twitter try and dispute that that's included in the Christopher Reeve Superman. I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
They even played the straight up John Williams.
Marlon Brando appears in the movie.
Exactly. That's the
they
Christopher
have him
Reeve
as
version.
Tess Mucker.
As soon as that showed up in the opening of the movie, I was like, no, this is canon to those movies. They don't do that.
Clark Son thing is literally a storyline carried over Superman 2 when he slept with Lois, which by the way that did happen. They didn't kill it, but they basically all like literally it's a storyline carried over from it's like anyone, and this is going to be where I'm going to be a hypocrite for a second. Anyone who tries to argue differently is being willfully ignorant because they make it like so obvious. The fact they're using the John Williams theme, it's like
straight up, not even changed in any way. Like when Cavill shows up in Black Adam, they played the Williams theme, but modified and modernized a little bit. The other one, no, it was straight up the John Williams.
Like
theme.
literally, it's like I think Michael Giacchino did the score. It's like with themes by John Williams. They had to do a separate score, a separate credit just for that.
But anyway, so Claudia, what you want to say?
I was going to say that, the Superman Returns film is canon to 1 and 2. It's pretty much 2.5, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an alternate timeline. Let's call it
It's an alternate timeline, but it is that version of Superman.
Yeah. And then they canonized that into Crisis on Infinite Earths, calling it the Kingdom Come universe.
Well, okay, that was in the TV shows, and that's kind of its own separate thing. Because I guarantee you, like if they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, like 5 to 10 years down the line, I would not be surprised if they bring back Brandon Routh to play Kingdom Come Superman. Because it's just perfect. Because it would be that's literally like you want to bring back Christopher Reeve's character. That is how you do it.
Yeah, and that's cool. But again, the point is like you got these versions of the movies, and you didn't show up for. I mean, here's the thing: Superman Returns did like profit. It just didn't make as much as Warner Brothers wanted it to. Sound familiar?
Man of Steel.
Yeah, because there's this whole thing where like Superman movies have to make $1 billion, and I'm like, no, they don't.
Wasn't Henry Cavill the runner-up for Return?
Yes, he was.
He was
the runner-up.
He was also
twice.
wait a second. He was also the runner-up to play Batman in Batman Begins.
No.
Also, the J.J. Abrams Superman Flyby movie that was being developed in the early 2000s. I think he was like the runner-up for that one. And there's actually a picture that I've shown here of him in the Superman suit in 2001.
And you know what's kind of funny? He still looks like Superman even back then. I'm like, wow.
Just with a little bit more hair.
Just with a little bit more hair, and also I think he kind of bulked up as the role went on when he was cast as Superman.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is like, it's like the thing is, it's like again with that, and this is kind of, you have fans and creatives that will attack you if you vary some version of the character. Because I got news for you. If like Mark Waid holds up like Christopher Reeve as the best Superman, let's say, the Kingdom Come comic Superman is not the Christopher Reeve Superman and it's the Superman that you wrote here yourself, dude. I'm just pointing out hypocrisy.
Golden Age Superman. It is, a
Kingdom Come is
version
not
of Golden Age. Yeah, it's a version of it. It's based off of it.
Okay, that's fine.
It is not canonically the version, but it is based off of it. Well,
remember, at the time, it was supposed to be canon to the current DC universe.
So, post-Crisis, then?
Post-Crisis. It's supposed to be post-Crisis Superman. So, I'm like, you wrote that. You've written, arguably, some of the darkest stuff in DC. So, please don't complain to me. I mean, it just seems a little hypocritical to me for you to critique Snyder's tone when I read Kingdom Come, which arguably had the exact same tone as Man of Steel.
To be fair, I think we're kind of giving Mark Waid a little bit too much credit on Kingdom Come.
Mhm.
Like that story was written by Alex Ross. It was done Kingdom Come was done the Marvel style, where Alex Ross did all the art beforehand, and then Mark Waid just went in and filled in the word bubbles. Like,
which again, I love Alex
Kingdom
Ross.
Come is Alex Ross's project. Like, he literally did all the art, and then Mark Waid went in and filled in the rest.
Right, we will be doing a stream on Alex Ross because you cannot be a comic book channel and not have talked about Alex Ross's art at least once. I mean, iconic art.
Jared,
Yeah.
imagine your comics become big, and all of a sudden you get Atlas done by Alex Ross.
That is the dream. That is the dream. But
That
anyway,
is going up in your living room and is never coming down.
that's gonna be a massive poster. But anyway, okay, the overall thing that we have to say, because actually there's one other example that I want to talk about. She-Hulk. Because remember, they had a segment in the show where it was just essentially attacking the critics of the show. And they even said it. Yeah, that's what this was. We were attacking the chuds.
I mean, they even did something like that in Ghostbusters 2016. Like, they literally added the scene in reshoots in response to controversy, where it's like, like they put on the commercial on YouTube, and like the comments like, oh, these toxic fans.
I'm like, okay.
By the way, Paul Feig has actually responded to what I did a tweet criticizing Ghostbusters and actually got Paul Feig to respond. So I just wanted to. I think
I saw that. That's nice. Good flex, Nick. But it's like, let me put it this way: are there some fans that take it completely overboard? Yes, 100%.
Yes.
You're gonna have that. But you can't act like you're surprised. First off, you're on Twitter. What do you expect? If you're on Twitter, you have to expect that there's going to be that component. So this whole thing about there being like, there's so many toxic fans on here. You're on Twitter. But second off, it's not nearly as large as you think it is.
And the third thing is,
it's like you're playing an MMO and you get killed by another player, and you're on a PvP server, and you complain when there's PvP on a PvP server.
Exactly. What were you saying, Claudia?
And the third thing is, Twitter's not the real world. You guys gotta understand.
No. You're wrong. Twitter is everything. Twitter's my whole universe.
It's a Dan Slott it is, but that's besides the point. But
well, he's blocked half of Twitter, so I don't know.
That's another thing. If you're blocking your fan base just because they don't like your Spider-Man book or like a creative decision, as long as they're being like 100% like civil. If they don't engage with you and you're just blocking them because they happen to also follow like EVS, I'm sorry, that's a problem.
Here's the catchphrase that I use: disagreement is okay, disrespect is not.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with mainstream creatives, it's gotten too much on the disrespect.
Like, yeah, a lot of them are. If you're not actively kissing my butt, telling me I am like the most amazing person ever, then you are literally the devil.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it really angers me when it's the older creatives that have been here for a while, because guess what? Your whole existence in this medium has been built by these very same fans that you are now insulting.
Yeah, I've never really understood that. Like, why would you bite the hand that feeds you? Like, especially you see sometimes see this with like indie creators, where it's even more so important with indie creators, because like as indie creators, our lifeblood is literally our fans, because like they're the ones who buy our crowdfunding products,
and you don't have the padding of writing a Superman book that's automatically gonna have an audience.
You don't have the padding of writing for a massive company that is owned by an even bigger company. You don't have that kind of abstraction. As indie creators, our fans are our lifeblood. And by the way, thank you, everyone.
Oh yeah, 100%. And and as a fan, I can say you're welcome, Nick. I look forward for Screecher 2 and 2100 Samurai 3. I look very much excited for that. But okay, So we're gonna wrap this up real quick, but we're gonna talk about who are some of the most positive creators you've ever interacted with. I'll start. David Finch. He's he's a DC artist. He's done like a lot of Batman. He did like Forever Evil. That was his book that he drew. I interacted with him. One of the nicest guys ever. Even Brian Azzarello was super cool. Chris Claremont was a doll. A real doll. And obviously, Nick. You're up there with Chris Claremont, Nick.
that is some.
And honestly, I got to say this: EVS. Because I had a lot of positive interactions with him on Twitter.
Honestly, if I had the opportunity to have dinner with EVS, I'd do it in a heartbeat. He seemed like a really cool guy to hang out with. Like, if you wanted, like, hey, you want to go to my hotel room, smoke a J, and talk? Yeah, I do it in a heartbeat.
There you go.
As far as personal experiences, and we're talking strictly comics.
Yeah.
I just got to give a shout out to Ron Wasserman, who is like
you can count that because that's so cool.
I mean, he literally backturned Samurai AQ3, so.
Wow, that's great.
But as far as the comic book people, Dan DiDio actually kind of surprised me with like how personable he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally brought up Stephanie Brown to him, and like he didn't get annoyed. Because I feel like he's probably gotten this question a bunch of times. He was very like humble, personal about it. He was very laughing. I think it helped that like I kind of like approached the question like nicely,
with kindness, yeah. Because if you approach it like, hey, I didn't really agree with this creative decision. Why did you push for that?
So Dan DiDio, he's a really cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just like some other ones that like I personally interact with a lot, like Bill Mother-Lowe, Arville Jones. By the way, did a cover for me. Also gotta give a shout out to Xevious. We gotta give,
Oh yeah, Xevious is awesome. Oh, can I add one more? Tony S. Daniel and Charles Sewell, because those two actually retweeted a few of my reviews of their comics.
Also, Valerie.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Valerie,
Yeah.
She's a really nice lady. I've had some interaction with her on Twitter. She's a former editor for comics, and honestly, if you just look at her tweets, she just seems like a really, really nice person.
For those of you that want to know a book that she worked on, was involved in, it's called New Frontier. I just completed it. It's freaking dope. It's a little bright.
This is how far I am right now.
Nice.
Got a little bit of a dent, but sorry, I had the blurred background.
It's a dense read, but it's so enjoyable.
It's so good.
It's so good, and the book is so much more detailed than the movie, so you get more. Mm-hmm. And the parts that are in the movie are like panel to screen.
It's really good.
For me, I've had interactions with developers, right? Game developers. Does that count?
Yeah,
because the comic book
that counts.
Like I've had people from the Gotham Knights development team that worked on the game. I've had interaction with the creative director, the level designer, and also I've had interactions with. I might have had a couple of interactions with Scott Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about Gotham Knights, essentially.
Well, he did write Court of Owls. So
he did write.
That's a writer I want to have on the show sometime. Is Scott Snyder? I've seen people interview him. He's so nice.
Yeah, he is.
He probably would.
Jared, with your permission, can we expand it to like any celebrity? Kind of give some thanks. Because
after Taladia.
Okay.
I was also going to say that if we want to get Scott Snyder on, we got to ask him about Superman Unchained.
Oh yes, because I got that.
Yeah, we literally got to ask him about Superman Unchained, and he's one of those people that I really wish that he does work on the next WB Montreal game to do Superman and do a New 52 Superman story.
Yes. Don't worry. I'll reach out and see if he wants to come on the show. Because, by Mr. Snyder, if you're watching the show, if you would love to come on, Open invitation.
There are two people that are glaring omissions from this list.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I missed that.
So Chuck, okay, I'm just gonna say this. Chuck Dixon is the one exception to never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because Chuck Dixon wasn't like my hero for a long time, and the interactions I've had with him has only reaffirmed that.
And Mike Barron I had a perfect interaction with Mike Barron. So we were talking about his book on law enforcement.
I know what
Yes,
you're about to do.
I'm bringing that up. So what I did was,
You have the clip ready.
no, I don't have it downloaded. I had to clear some space, but what I'll do is I'll describe it. So we're talking about his book, Thin Blue Line, which is about a law enforcement, trying to give a more positive view of law enforcement. So we were talking about how the media labeled it as like a book about cops going into underprivileged neighborhoods and shooting people. It's not. So he goes to me and he goes, Jared, were you entertained by that book? And I go, yeah, of course. So Mike, so basically what you did is you walked into the comic book scene and I played the clip from Gladiator with Maximus going, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? That was the best
I was there.
setup for clip ever.
I was there, and it was a good.
That's on my list of top 5 Comics League moments. And Chuck Dixon was awesome too, because behind him he has like all the stuff on shelves and stuff. And when the interview starts, he goes, "I just want to say one thing: Jared and I are not in the same room, or just our stuff happens to line up." That was so good.
That was a great icebreaker.
And then when I just want to say one more thing. My favorite thing is when Mike Barron's describing his lawsuit, which is called Mike Barron versus the Scum of the Earth. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've done some cons, so like I've met some cool people. I want to give a shout out to Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor from Doctor Who.
Hey,
really cool guy. Jason Font, the Red Time Force Ranger.
I want to meet that guy so badly.
Kristana Loken, who was the TX in Terminator 3. Really, really nice lady. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet.
Mm-hmm. Did you tell her I like this car?
No, but I did tell her, and she actually really seemed to like the comment. Like what I said to her was, I never really understood why Arnie was supposed to beat beat you, because you're a TX. You're literally a Terminator. Like
you gave me really response. That's so good.
And she was like, I know, right?
I love that. He beats everyone despite the fact that he's a less advanced model.
It's plot. That's
it's plot reasons, but
he was really nice. Probably one of my favorite interactions was I met Nicholas Bresden, who played Xander on Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I was watching Buffy, it kind of got me through some really hard times, and I basically kind of watched it like as if I was like Xander. He was a character I related to the most, and like I kind of poured my heart out to Nicholas Bresden, telling him how much like his character meant to me, and like after I did my whole spiel, there's kind of like this pause, and he's like, he's kind of taken aback. He's like, "Thanks," because he didn't really know what to say, and we kind of shook hands, and that was really nice, honestly.
Yeah, that was fun. So, and then there's one more I'll say that I'll log off with. When I met Nolan North, because I showed up dressed as Superboy from Young Justice.
Oh,
so
I'm
he got that. We had a conversation about the whole response people had when he died, and I go, yeah, I knew they weren't dying. This is a DC show. No one dies in DC. But anyway, so that's where we're gonna leave it.
I feel bad for Nolan because he has to deal with all the Deadpool fans.
Oh yeah, but another really great guy. So anyway, we're gonna call it. By the way, so I'm gonna go around, boys. Where can one find you, and what have you got coming out? So Nick, you first.
All right. So you can find me on Twitter at the Phoenix Press, YouTube the same. We're in the last week of Tournament Samurai. We'll be going into In Demand. The book right now, the book is just shy of 50% done. Pages 1 through 8 and 10 are done, ready for lettering. Page 9 should be coming along shortly. We're hoping to have it done within the next week or so, and then then we'll kind of go so basically probably going to print towards the end of next month. It's weird saying next month when it's like a month day away, but Anyway, and then we'll be starting production on Screecher #2 towards the middle of June. So, yeah, kind of a bit of an awkward kind of time for me right now, but yeah, good things are coming.
Awesome. So Taladia.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Taladia Play, same on YouTube. I will be posting up or would have already posted up my Marvel Spider-Man 2 collab video with Doomkill HD, where we talk about what other villains that could be in the game that we want in the game, alongside top 5 Spider-Man skins for both for Miles Morales and for Peter Parker, that we would want in the game. So that video should be out or is already out over the weekend, and also we got Superman and Lois reaction stream happening next week, and also Summer Game Fest on Thursday over on my Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/Plays, where I will be live streaming the Thursday event and the Saturday.
Sweet.
That's happening, and there will
Yeah,
be
Taladia, we can't hear you.
Yeah, it's kind of cut in and out.
now.
No.
All right, Jared.
But anyway, sub to all these guys. So, and then for me, I have a video coming out where I took
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can. Go ahead.
So as I was saying, yeah, so I have got the Summer Game Fest event happening, and I'll be live streaming the Thursday and Saturday streams, and I will be doing MME stuff with Max, so stay tuned for that on MME channel.
So anyway, on Comics League, actually not tomorrow, but I should already have. So this is going out on Friday, so I already have the fan edit out about Superman, and then we're talking about the Bad Blood Batman movie for movie night, and I'll be doing my regular coverage of Justice League and Avatar with Nick from the Phoenix Press, and we'll be watching Superman and Lois with Taladia, and we'll see if I lose the bet or win the bet. Remember, this episode is the receipt for that. So on that note, everyone, stay heroic, and we will see you in the next episode.
Run the bet for life.